Well, it's that time of the year when I review my most comfortable boots from 2025. Picking the top 5, I've left out some notable exceptions, and at least 3 of the top 5 I think are going to be surprises. Let's go. G'day, how you going? My name is Tech and I welcome you to my channel about boots, Bootlosophy. I'm filming on Whadjuk land and waters in the Greater Noongar traditional area here in Perth, Western Australia. Today, as the year ends, I'm going to give you the top 5 most comfortable boots I picked up this year. You will have seen my reviews of these boots by now, or at least their unboxing. But to put the choices in context, I'll just run you through the 21 pairs of boots that I acquired this year, which formed the pool that I chose from. In order, I got a pair of Arno Bliskavka side zip boots, 2 pairs from Wootton in Victoria. There were a pair of Smith Chelseas and a pair of lace-up Gordon boots. I got a pair of Blackbird and a pair of Craft and Glory from India, a pair from Fortis from Indonesia, a pair of Trickers, Herring and Crown Northampton boots from the UK. I got a pair from Cordobes and a pair from De Vere, a pair each from 2 unknown brands, Hanker and Amberjack. A crazy tough pair from Nicks, their Overlander boot. My first pair from Chinese brand Lewis Jet. My second pair of Blundstones, and 5, count them, 5 pairs from Parkhurst. In order to choose the top 5 most comfy boots, I rated all of them by considering the overall fit of the last, how supportive the uppers were and yet supple, how good the arch support was, and how they felt underfoot. Now let's go through a few surprises. First of all, none of my 5 Parkhurst pairs, my favorite brand, made the cut down to the final 5. Now, I think that may be partly my fault, as I haven't really had time to fully break them in, and their veg tan Benz leather insoles and midsoles, they really need some time for your feet to get into them. However, even then, I think the Spanish and Portuguese made Commando lug soles tend to have a tougher compound. And while I scored the boots high in fit and supportive leathers, the comfort underfoot I marked low. They're still my favorites though. Another surprise is that the Blundstone 1306 didn't make the cut. In fact, they scored quite poorly. While the Squish made good comfort underfoot, their last fit, in this particular last, was a bit one-size-fits-all and not all that well. And there wasn't a great deal of arch support with the irregular foam insoles, despite a steel shank. The third surprise is that the Wootons, neither the Smith Chelsea nor the Gordon lace-up made the top 5, even though they were custom fitted. They scored very highly though, and they made 6th and 7th, and missed being 4th and 5th by a mere whisker. The Gordon lace-up boot gets an honourable mention because they were actually tied for 5th place, but they got pipped at the post because of the superior wedge and squish of number 5, which I will reveal in a minute. Now I know they were custom fitted, but the last is really beautifully designed to fit around your foot. It gripped the heel, supported the waist of your foot beautifully, and despite the almond toe, had plenty of room in the forefoot to fit my wide ball beautifully. The comfort underfoot is helped by being a Blake Rapid stitch construction, so a little few less layers to bend, but enough thick cork in that little donut hole, and there's enough leather underneath to allow your foot to sink in and make your own cozy home inside. The thin foam removable insole helps with the comfort as well as being supportive under the arch. So let's go through my top 5 most comfortable boots I acquired in 2025, and I will do it in reverse order. But first, if you're liking this video, don't forget to click on the like button down below because it really helps me out. I have also put links to some of the boots I've mentioned in this video, and some of them down below are affiliate links, but some are also not. Supporting these brands through my affiliate links won't cost you any more, but it will provide a small commission on sales that helps me to buy equipment and support this channel. Now, without further ado, let's look at the number 5 most comfy boot of 2025. It is the De Vere Nomad Heritage in black aniline leather and on a black Vibram wedge sole. This must have been one of the last pairs shipped out because De Vere went out of business just a few months after I got this. However, the good news is that with my friend John Bristow's help, he of the YouTube channel The Happiness Carpenter, they have come back in a small way as a newly launched brand called 724. Their website is ridiculously impossible to Google, but it's 724.store. That's 7 in letters spelled out, followed by the number 24.store, not .com. These scored 4 out of 5 for fit. The last is snug where it matters and roomy in the toe box so that your feet are comfortably supported, and the support in the uppers is helped by the fully lined, firm Mexican chrome tanned leather. The seams on the uppers, they're all well scarred and stitched and don't cause any pressure where they overlap. They have a firm foam removable insole, which is very supportive of your arch, and with the leather insole and midsole, and I guess some cork, and the very squishy wedge sole, scored a 5 out of 5 for underfoot comfort. I have not fully broken these in yet, and even though I got them in April of 2025, because that period was a period of lots of new boots, but already, I could wear these all day. So let's go to number 4, which is another surprise. Number 4 most comfy boot of 2025 for me was the Lewis Jet Indiana. Yes, I know, they look just like the Auden Indy with a wedge sole. And yes, I think the word copy may have been used here and there. However, I've just reviewed this pair after wearing them for a month. I think if my schedule doesn't change, the review came out yesterday, I think, so go see it on my channel. And I have to say, my review was very surprising, even to me. So surprising, I titled it, "Can a Copy Be Great Quality?" Because it is. This is a really well-made, quality-made boot, leaving aside the aesthetics and the familiar style. So leaving the look aside, it's made from a locally tanned, full-grain leather that has a kind of Scotch grain imprinted on it that's also firm, full of character, and very supportive of your feet, scoring 4 out of 5. The last is not a true balance for sure, but it's still snug where it needs to be snug, around the ankle and the heel, and it's spacious where it's comfortable in the toe box. I scored the fit a 4 out of 5. The arch support is not the best, but it's okay. But by far the standout is the comfort underfoot. I have worn this solidly for a month, almost non-stop, to try and bash it around to see if anything gave out. Spoiler alert, nothing gave out, and all the quality of the actual construction holds together. But the standout is just how comfortable it is under your feet. The wedge sole is a proprietary one, which I suspect is TPU and PU rather than blown rubber. But that makes for a Blundstone-like squish underfoot, and it seemed to be more durable compared to how quickly the wedge on my Red Wing mock toes wears out. I can tell you, as I do in my full review, go see it, I was waiting to hate on this boot, but now it's made it on my top 5 most comfortable boots of this year. Okay, now turning to number 3 most comfy boot in 2025. Number 3 is from a lesser known brand called Hanker, based in Canada but made in India. Don't hate on India. India has a long history of quality stitched down and Goodyear welted footwear construction, and they make some of the high quality boots for many, if not most, Northampton brands. This is their Nomad boot. It's a plain toe derby or derby boot, 360 degree Goodyear welted construction, and sat on a Vibram blown rubber wedge sole. The leather is Italian and it's fully lined, so it gives a firm supportive feel around your ankle. The shaft has softened and started rolling with wear. It shows the rolls beautifully, but it's still firmly supportive, and I scored it a 5 out of 5 for uppers comfort without pinching. I also gave the fit a 5 because despite the slim look and with a, well, I'll call it sharp, don't you? Sharp almond-shaped toe, there's enough length in the toe box not to squeeze your toes. The volume is also surprising given the sleekness of the last. There is no removable insole in this case, but the leather insole is a thick leather insole and not so firm that it fights your feet when your feet try to sink in. Break-in was a breeze, and within a few wears, I could feel the imprint of my foot on the inside. There is a cork filler, but because of that lovely soft leather insole and the squishy Vibram wedge sole, it's hard to tell how much cork there is in there. The arch support is great actually, more because of the last with its narrowed in waist than any build-up on the inside. To me, that is a well-designed last. The comfort underfoot was only about 4 out of 5, but only because I find that Vibram blown rubber to have a teeny bit less give than that on the Devier or the Lures Jet-made TPU-PU wedge sole. Are you ready for yet another surprise? My number 2 most comfy boot came out of a fashion brand out of New York. It doesn't have stitched soles. In fact, it's a heat-sealed construction like a Timberland boot, like the Blundstone. Many of you hated the look of it, but damn, it's truly comfortable. This is the Amberjack The Boot. There was a bit of controversy in this boot for me. This was given to me for review. After I reviewed it, totally independently and I think in quite a balanced way, the brand liked my review so much they asked if I would partner them in a campaign by allowing them to use my review video. Always wanting to help a new or small brand, I said yes. But in my naivety with social media, I hadn't realized that they would edit my video, basically taking out the balance, I think, and then run it as social posts that looked as if they came from me. To be fair, as soon as I said to them that I wasn't happy that it appeared that I was putting out a social post with all the good bits, they swapped the posts so that they became their posts. If you want a balanced review of this boot, including some negatives, go and see the full review that's on my channel. Okay, maybe I'm cheating a bit. Maybe it's actually more of a sneaker than a boot. But all the hallmarks of bootdom are present. It is a 6-inch lace-up derby boot with a toe cap, well made, and I think a standout look. Now, most of you hated this black heel counter cover, but I like it. And if you don't, but you want the comfort, you can get it in all tan or all brown without any contrasting bits. I like the green nubuck leather and the black rubber counter cover together. To me, it makes the boot look very different. But we're not here for looks, we're here for comfort. So how did this score? It scored highly for fit because I think the last is really good for my feet. It gripped my heel and waist, opened up sufficiently at the ball, and despite the very fashion-forward, scary pointy toe, doesn't squish your toes. Another well-designed last. At the start, I had to stretch the right boot a bit because my wide, small toe ankle on my right foot was a bit squeezed, but the stretch fixed it. There is plenty of gentle arch support because it comes with an almost orthotically curved, heat-formed, removable insole. As you wear them more and more, the heat-forming properties kick in and retains the shape of your feet within the foam. The density is just right to give you arch support without being too aggressive about it. Coupled with this brilliantly grippy TPU-PU outsole, it makes a very comfortable stride and footfall. The only reason it didn't sneak into the number 1 position was because it is a hot boot. It's lined with sheepskin, and not the furry kind either, but somehow the lining and waterproofing have combined to make it a very hot boot to wear. That takes away from its comfort overall, obviously, if your feet are feeling sweaty. Okay, drum roll. What is the number 1 most comfy boot I got in 2025? In many ways, it's not going to be a surprise to you, and yet in some ways, I think it will be a big surprise. Here it is, the Nicks Overlander in honey waxed rough out Spokane. I think some of you may be surprised that I rank it as my most comfy boot of 2025 because it's so heavily built. It is a heavy boot. It's a tank. It's got the hard compound Vibram V100 lugs underneath. It's got, I'm carrying it and feeling the weight. It's got layers and layers of firm leather in the sole construction. How could such a heavy boot, beautiful as it is, I've got to put it down, beautiful as it is, and obviously as a fit for purpose, as a work boot as it is, how can you even think of this as comfortable? But some of you, I think, will understand. While I've talked about squish a lot in the previous 4 boots, it's not squish alone that makes a comfortable boot, right? So let's go through it. The fit. This was not custom fitted, but choosing the right size and width almost makes it so. I was advised by Nicks to go a full size down from my Brannock size, but to go 2 widths up. So while my regular Nicks boots are 8D, this is a 7.5 double E. Once the size is right in these, the last then takes over for comfort. The heel is quite generous, so weirdly, it doesn't snug up to your own heel, but the leather inside and all around ensures that you're not slipping around. It actually feels very secure, particularly if you're strapping it up nicely. Like all the most arch supportive lasts, this one snicks in at the waist a bit and in fact tucks in under your arch. You can feel the actual insole up here somewhere. Like the old and true balance last, it creates a cantilever support wrapped under your arch even before it gets to the sole itself. Inside the sole construction are layers and layers of skived leather that curves under your feet and arch, giving it, in this HNW moderate last, I think a gentler support under your arch from underneath a supportive upper. Nicks tells me that this is their work leather, the Spokane, that can stand being casually worn. What that means to you and me is that Spokane is a firm leather that's also supple at the same time. It's not stiff, but it stands up. It takes your shape as you wear it and it fills the gaps. The waxed rough out is sturdy and protects against scratches and scuffs beautifully. But on top of that, it allows the use to show through. Underneath, all that leather makes a difference. I say it all the time, but I don't think I ever really believe it myself. Layers of leather is better than rubber and foam and pour-on, I say. Maybe not immediately, I say, but as the leather takes up the shape of your feet, it feels like a custom-made orthotic, I say. But in the meantime, I enjoy the comfort of my Thursday boots, my amberjacks, and my removable foam insoles. But in this boot, my own eyes are opened. Damn, I was right! Leather on leather, the right type of leather, shaped properly, skived properly, built properly, never mind the weight, really is supremely comfy. Well, I never. So what do you think? There were a few surprises in there, weren't there? There were even, I think, a few surprises not in there. But I did try to work this out as logically, if not as scientifically, as I could. Testing them, wearing them, remembering them being worn on other occasions when I went away and had them on for a whole week, and then scoring them on the 4 points of fit, support, arch support, and underfoot comfort. I realize all our feet are different, right? But not only that, our personal preferences will color our senses to make something feel more comfortable than others think it is, or less comfy than others think. I'd be surprised if even the majority of you think I'm right about including the amberjack green boots. I'd be floored if I don't get some criticism of including Luos Jet. But I tell you, never mind the design, they're well built and honestly, they're comfortable indeed. I'd also be surprised if I don't get 1 or 2 comments about how it's impossible for a heavy work boot like the Overlander to be the most comfortable. But they're on my feet, and I'm not trying to get you to buy these boots by telling you what isn't as if it was what it really is. But that's really how I feel when I put my feet in them. Anyway, leave a comment below on your thoughts, and don't forget, click on like, and if you haven't subbed yet, I'd love it if you click on the subscription button as well. I'm going to have more videos up next week, so make sure you're subbed to stay in touch with some discussion. Take care and see you soon.